The prison cafeteria buzzed with the clang of metal trays and the murmur of hushed conversations. The air was thick with the scent of institutional food. Inmates shuffled in line, their faces a blend of resignation and quiet defiance. It was a cacophony of despair, a symphony of sorrow. The walls seemed to absorb the collective grief, amplifying the sense of hopelessness that permeated the room. Michael sat alone, his plastic tray laden with bland food he barely touched. He poked at it with his fork, his mind elsewhere, lost in the memories of a life that seemed so distant now. It was his first week, and the weight of his sentence pressed down on him. The days stretched endlessly before him, each one a reminder of the mistakes that had led him here. Just then, a shadow fell across his table. He looked up, startled, his heart racing. In a place where trust was scarce, any unexpected interaction could be a cause for concern.
"Mind if I sit here?" a voice boomed. It was deep and resonant, carrying a surprising warmth that cut through the cold atmosphere of the cafeteria. Michael looked up, startled, into the kind eyes of a towering man. The man's presence was imposing, yet his eyes held a gentleness that put Michael at ease.
"Name's James," the man smiled, extending a hand. Michael hesitantly shook it, feeling the strength in James's grip. It was a simple gesture, but in this place, it meant everything. Little did he know, this simple exchange marked the beginning of an extraordinary friendship. In a world where connections were rare and fleeting, this moment stood out, a beacon of hope in the darkness. As days turned into weeks, Michael and James's bond grew stronger. They shared stories, dreams, and fears, finding solace in each other's company. In a world that had stripped them of so much, they found a way to reclaim a piece of their humanity. In the end, it was this chance encounter that changed everything. It was a reminder that even in the most unlikely of places, connections could be made and hope could be found. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months. The harsh routine of prison life became their shared reality. Michael, initially withdrawn and wary, found himself opening up to James. They talked about everything and nothing, sharing stories of their lives before prison, their hopes for the future, however uncertain. James, with his infectious optimism and unwavering spirit, became Michael's anchor in the storm. The shared experience of incarceration, the deprivation, the monotony, the ever-present sense of loss, forged a bond between them that transcended the barbed wire fences and concrete walls. They found solace in their shared struggles, their vulnerabilities laid bare. They learned to lean on each other, offering support and encouragement when the weight of their situation threatened to crush them. One particularly bleak afternoon, as Michael grappled with news from home, James sat with him, patiently listening, offering words of comfort.
"We're in this together, brother," James said, his voice firm yet gentle. "We'll get through this."
And for the first time since his incarceration, Michael believed him. They discovered a shared love for books, devouring every volume they could get their hands on. Books became their escape, their solace. Each page turned was a step away from the confines of their cells, a journey into a world where they could be anyone, do anything. They formed a makeshift book club, their discussions offering a temporary escape from the harsh realities of prison life. These meetings were more than just about books. They were about connection, about finding common ground in a place designed to isolate. Through shared stories, they traveled to distant lands, explored different perspectives, and nurtured their minds while their bodies remained confined. Each book was a new adventure, a new perspective, a new way to see the world. One day, James stumbled upon a book on chess. It was old and worn, its pages yellowed with age, but it sparked a curiosity in him. He brought it to their usual meeting spot, a small table tucked away in a corner of the prison library. This corner had become their sanctuary.
"Ever played?" he asked. Michael shook his head. He had seen others play, but the rules had always seemed too complicated. "Time to learn then," James chuckled, setting up the board. He explained the pieces, the moves, the strategies. Michael was eager, his mind hungry for the challenge.
Chess became their ritual, a battle of wits and strategy. It was more than just a game. It was a mental exercise, a way to sharpen their minds and keep their spirits engaged. They spent hours lost in the game, their earlier anxieties and worries fading into the background. The concentration required left no room for fear or regret, only the next move, the next strategy. As their release dates drew closer, the thought of navigating the outside world, a world they had been away from for so long, filled them with a mix of trepidation and excitement. They knew the road ahead would be fraught with challenges, but they faced it with a shared determination, their bond strengthened by years of mutual support.
We should stick together on the outside.
Mike suggested one day, voicing the thought that had been brewing in his mind for weeks.
We could be roommates.
The idea, initially spoken in jest, began to take root in their minds, blossoming into a tangible plan. It was a pact of friendship, a promise forged in the crucible of their shared experience. The thought of facing the world alone, without John by his side, was a daunting prospect. The idea of having someone who understood, someone who had shared the burden of his past, gave Mike a much-needed sense of security. He knew that with John, he wouldn't be alone in his struggle for redemption and a second chance. The day they walked out of those imposing gates, the world felt both familiar and alien. It was a moment they had longed for, yet feared. The freedom they had dreamt of was now a reality, but it came with its own set of challenges. The air was different, fresher, freer. Each breath was a reminder of the life they had missed, the simple pleasures they had been deprived of. The sounds of the city, once grating, were now a symphony of life. The hustle and bustle, the chatter of people, the honking of cars. It was all a testament to the world moving forward, a world they were now a part of again. Yet, beneath the surface of their newfound freedom lurked the shadows of their past. Every step they took was a reminder of the mistakes they had made, the time they had lost. The stigma of their incarceration followed them like a specter, casting a long shadow over their efforts to rebuild their lives. It was a constant presence, a reminder that society had not forgotten their past. Finding employment proved to be an uphill battle. Despite their skills and determination, the labels attached to them were hard to shake off. Doors were slammed in their faces, judgment clouding the eyes of potential employers. It was as if their past mistakes were written on their foreheads, visible to everyone they met. The world seemed determined to remind them of their past mistakes, making it difficult to move forward. Every rejection, every skeptical glance was a blow to their fragile hope. Despondency threatened to engulf them, the weight of their past threatening to drag them down. It was a heavy burden, one that seemed almost impossible to lift.
It's all right to feel frustrated, Mike. We've been through worse and we've come out stronger.
John said one evening, sensing his friend's despair. They were back in their small, shared apartment, a world away from the cold confines of prison. The walls of their modest home were a stark contrast to the bars that once confined them.
We knew it wouldn't be easy, but we have each other, remember? Together, we can face anything.
And in that moment of shared vulnerability, Mike found the strength to keep going. The bond they shared, forged in the fires of adversity, was their greatest strength. It was a reminder that no matter how daunting the reality, they were not alone. Together, they could face the world one step at a time.